What is up? What is up? Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Talkative. I hope you guys are having a great Friday afternoon on this beautiful Friday, August 19th, 2022. We're back on the show. And like I told you guys last episode 25 of Talkative, where we spoke about ableism and different tropes, and where I gave my huge, strong take and opinion on what I think about pity. If you guys haven't listened to the episode, make sure to check it out. I'll have it linked up on this top right corner right here, and just make sure you give that a watch and a listen. But I'd said to you guys that I was going to split this episode or this discussion into two, where I was going to discuss one portion of the article and the topic, and then the other portion would be for this second part or second episode. This might not be considered episode 26. This might just be considered episode 25 just continued. So just make sure you give that episode a listen to have an idea of what you're going to hear about today in this little section. So we're going to be discussing the practices. So this is where I left off on last episode. This is where I didn't mention or discuss. We're going to discuss different practices that you guys can go about when it comes to discussing disability and just avoiding anything that has to do with ableism and anything that's ableistic. To start, two of these I kind of already mentioned or spoke about, and that was centering disabled voices and seeing or viewing disability as a culture and identity and not a problem or not anything that needs to be fixed through a medicalized lens, right? And I'm going to re-reference them today in this little section right now. So for the first one, this is the first practice that I'm going to mention for you guys here, is if you're talking with anyone that is, disabled, or you're trying to obtain any information about any disability, and you have a reference from a person, you have a person who is disabled, make sure you get their input, make sure you hear from them, and you allow their voice to get heard, to be heard, because it's not that the voices of the people that work with the person is not important, whether it be family members or medical professionals or anyone, even in home care, whatever the case may be. Their voice matters too, but it's better if you guys just focus on the disabled voice and focus on the voice of the person who is going through the condition, because quite frankly, the person who is not disabled, they don't know. They're not in that person's shoes. They don't understand 100% what it is to be disabled until they are disabled themselves, correct? So it's just better to hear from the person, to get input from that person, because they'll tell you detail by detail their own experiences and their own battles and their own ways of dealing with their disability more precise. It will just be more precise when it comes to obtaining information or learning from a disability or just learning from someone in general. So make sure you guys censor disabled voices if you guys do any interviews, or you just want to get to know somebody who is disabled. Make sure you hear more from them than anyone else. Make sure you prioritize that voice of the person who is living with that condition. Make them be known and make them be heard. So that's the first practice. The second practice, which I also talked about in episode 25, is recognizing disability as a culture and a part of us rather than something that needs to be fixed. Like I said, this is not something that we need to rush and get all medical research and all just medical views and medications and research done and procedures, whatever the case may be, to fix a problem that we see through a medicalized lens. This is not a problem that needs fixing. This is something that we should just take in and accept and allow to be part of our modern day culture and society, not a problem. So much like I have written here, much like it suggests, the medical model is a biomedical perception of disability that supposes that disability may reduce one's quality of life and that aims to correct or diminish it through medical intervention or through medical needs. No, this is not a case of medical attention. This is not a case of we need to medically fix this and we need to fix this now. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, disability or not, we're all part of the same creation, we're all part of the same race, the same human race. So we should see that like that. We should see disability as part of our normal society, no matter what. And the reason why I say normal with emphasis is because a lot of the times people want to give perceptions and ideas of normalcy. They want to prioritize normalcy, and they want to say what they consider normal or not. And that's also what's quoted here by McDonald Harita, who was a activist, a disability activist, quoted in the article that we've been discussing. She says, the medical model says that disabled people have to be fixed, or there's inherently something wrong with us. And there should be science, and we should all aim to have a cure or live more quote-unquote normal. So like I said, people are always going to have these perceptions and these viewpoints on what they consider to be normal or not. What I say and what I tell you guys right now is view disability as a normal thing. View disability as a part of us, no matter what. Because in today's day and age, I mean, for those of you who don't know, we make up 1 billion of the world's population. 1 billion people, or at least here in America, no, around the world, are disabled. So just keep that in mind, that it's a vast community, it's a large community of people who are living with medical or physical or learning mental disabilities. A huge number. That's 13% of the world's population. And at that point, it's like, okay, you know what? Since these, all these people who are just like us, but just live with a different condition and live with a different situation, are a part of us, why not look at that 1 billion number and say, you know what? These are 1 billion of us. These people represent us, no matter what the case is, and we should not view this as something that needs to be fixed, or we should not fix disabled people because they're not living normal like we are. It's not the case. Never view disability through a medicalized lens, because you guys are going to create false perceptions for yourselves, and you guys are going to say, okay, that maybe this disabled person could do this to live more of a normal life just like everybody else. Look, we live identical lives no matter the case. And like I said in episode 25, I briefly mentioned this. We want to live the best life that we can live. We want to live the life that a lot of you guys who are not disabled desire to live. Trust me, we do. And it should stay that way. The viewpoint should be that these people, despite their condition, want to live the best life that they want to live. And period. Just keep it at that. And nothing else. This is not something that needs to be always medically viewed. This is not something that needs to be a fix. We should not tell these people and tell this community, okay, this is something that we can do to find a cure to make you live more normal. No, we're already living a normal life, and we desire to live that normal life and that better life, no matter the cause. So just keep that in mind. Don't view disability as something that needs to be fixed, rather than, okay, they're living with this condition, they're living with this problem, physically, mentally, learning, whatever the case may be. What can we do to bring them benefit, and what can we do to make them feel accepted, to make them feel included, so that they can live a greater life just like each one of us, just like everybody else. Just view it as that way, and don't see disability as a way of fixing. Never see it as a way of fixing. Because I've been told by a lot of people that I know, teachers, professors, friends, everyone, people that I work with, Jason, you're normal to me. You're just like every other kid. I remember back in grade school, middle school, elementary, and high school, teachers would always tell me, I don't look at you differently. And that particular phrase as a whole, I don't look at you differently despite your condition. Because yes, we live with various conditions. We live differently to everyone else in that regard, right? In regards to our condition, but we all live one life. And if you guys have that perspective, which is a positive and a healthy one, that you see a person who is disabled not as different as you, then that's great. And that's the mentality that we should all have as a society. is I don't look at you different, although you do live with this different condition that is not in me. Like, I don't live with this, but you do. You're still the same no matter the case. You're still talking, you're still human just like me. View it that way. So yeah, with that being said, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to just really wrap up here and discuss when it comes to, ableism and this disability discussion. It's been a while since we've had one, so I'm glad that I took the motive and time to have a disability discussion for this week. If you guys want to hear more about ableism, let me know, or any disability topic that I discuss. My iCloud just went out. It's alright. If you guys want to hear more about the disability discussions that I discuss here in the show, let me know, whether it be ableism or some of the old conversations and topics that I discuss. I've spoken about various stories of a mother with autism. I've spoken about making airline or airplane bathrooms more accessible, and just overall accessibility in flights and airplanes when it comes to living with a disability and traveling as well. What's another thing that I touched base on? My experiences with the Victory Challenge games. I mean, I've pretty much spoke a lot when it comes to that, but if you guys want to listen to more of that as well, let me know. And yeah, with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for taking the time to listen to this discussion. My disability discussions are just as important as any other discussion that I do on the show. So, just having, the listens, the comments on the clips that I post on social media mean a lot to me, and it means a lot to what I represent and what I want to raise awareness on. So I thank you guys for that. And y'all be easy. Y'all take care. God bless. I'll leave you guys with the disability fact of this episode, or part of an episode. And we'll see you guys next week for episode 26.